Yeah. So when we've got our strategy in place, we've got our tactics in a pretty good place. Now we can move into application. And so that's the A. And that's where this whole process should, I like to get in and out of it in 90 days or less, maybe 30 to 60, depending on, how robust we need to be, or if we've already got an annual planning process that now we're making sure the digital marketing aspect is tucked into. Um, Application is looking at all the assets you need to be able to accomplish over the next year, or as far out as you can plan
Okay.
digital marketing out to. And this isn't go create like display assets or new email templates, or go create new landing pages on the site, or decide to blow up your site entirely and start over.
Mhm.
It's to plan out what you need and to organize it in a way, whether you're just doing flights, and to balance how much you want to be planned out into the future versus how much agility you want in it too. So to plan the assets you need, so you don't get to the end of this where you're like, okay, we need to go redo everything, and then you can't activate your plan for like 6 months. Or on the flip side, you go start, the creative part of your team, or the hat you might wear, you go start creating assets, and you never finish the planning process, and they might need to go get revisited entirely when you get toward the end of it. So that's the application step. And then we get into review. What I call review, I don't call it reporting, I call it review, because it's bigger and more transformative than just reporting. And reporting is often reactive. But this is making sure that you have everything trackable and measurable. This is where you may have to get
Mhm.
messy, fix some connections between marketing and sales data, and to also get a bigger picture of ROI overall. Because even with the industry leading dashboards and third party reporting tools that sometimes make it easy to connect all the data sources, they're ignorant of how much that I cost, or my team costs, or an outside vendor or agency might cost, or how much our software costs, even the same software you might be paying for, to be able to report a holistic ROI that a CMO or a C suite might care about, or a business owner might care about too. So,
Yeah.
able to make sure that we have all of that in place before we go start spending money, because the last thing we want to do is say we had this perfect plan, but we can't quantify it, is a
Mhm.
challenge too. And then the final phase is the one to go back to something you mentioned a moment ago. I call it transformation. In some cases, it will look like just using your own project management or task management system to schedule out implementation of the plan. But
Mhm.
sourcing is a big challenge, where you have this perfect plan in theory, and then you can't pull it off because someone is on parental leave, someone is sick, or the product team hits you down the road with a brand new surprise product launch, and the C-suite gives you a drive-by and says, "Well, what about trying this audience? Or maybe we're going to go to this trade show this year." Or some outside force like Google changes an algorithm, or new privacy laws come out, or whatever it might be. Any of those things can happen if we don't have a plan that is disciplined, where we have it locked in and we're going to do these things, as well as enough agility in it. If these things change or something blows it up, how are we going to come back and revisit it? So at the end of the year, it doesn't sound like a bunch of excuses, when it's like, well, we started on the plan and then we got busy with this thing and we put it on the shelf, or we did this other good thing, but we didn't come back and revisit the plan to see where budget, does that change any of our goals over here? Do we reallocate those? Or are we getting new budget? Are we putting new focuses in? Are there too many hats to wear? Can compliance even keep up with us if we have to go through a legal review? And how is that going to all play out to make sure it's a feasible plan that you can implement?